Hello everyone and welcome to the FPL Cougars show. I'm Chris.
I'm Kieran.
And today we are previewing Gameweek 28. In tonight's show we'll be discussing each upcoming Gameweek fixture, predicting the potential key players, differentials and clean sheets. We'll also talk captaincy, reveal our teams, plan transfers and go over our Cougar Cub picks. Keek, let's go straight into it. Points, what were they looking like?
So 62, which was a decent green arrow in the end. So yeah, I went from 63k-ish up to 48k. So yeah,
nice.
the highest I've been in a little while, which is nice.
So not the highest you've been this season then?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I've been up to about 30-ish at some point, I think. Okay, yeah, 35k in Gameweek 22. Anyway, so yeah, the defence was the big thing for me this week. I think McCarthy with a clean sheet, who's been pretty poor lately, but yeah, nice to have that one at least. And then Bolly, who obviously Sidibe, I took him out for Bolly, paid off immediately with the clean sheet. Yeah. Shame I didn't get Sice in the end, but can't win them all. So I think long-term Bolly's a better pick anyway. Anyway, so Trent obviously didn't get the clean sheet, the double Liverpool defence, but they're both returned with attacking returns. So Trent with the 2 and with the 2 assists, and then could have had 3, couldn't he? Could have had another haul, but yeah, 10 points and 4 points for my 2 defenders. Mahrez with the differential points of 8, which was nice to see. Obviously worried he wouldn't start, which is every week, but yeah, I think he's probably on his way out this week. Yeah, Salah with the sort of fortunate captain goal, I suppose. Yeah. It didn't look that great, but I think he possibly would have gone on and got something anyway if he didn't get that. But yeah, Jimenez with the goal finally, but yellow card as well, which is a shame. But and then Ings has just turned into Jamie Vardy of late. So, yeah, 62 altogether. Fine, happy with that. Just move on.
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, I actually had my best game week of the season, the highest game week rank, which was just slightly over 500,000, which I was both surprised and very happy with because it's been rough. So, like I said, had been having a bit of awful time of it really. So I jumped like maybe 150,000 places. So I'm just on about 600,000. And looking at the point swing, there's hardly anything in it. It's like I'm less than 15 points now behind about 400,000. So it's such fine margin. So yeah, I got 63. Main points came on the Saturday from Pope, Stevens and Stevens, both of them. So 7, 6 and 6 there just like shot me right up. Like you, had Salah captain, so was relieved when Fabianski let that slip through his legs. Yep. Yeah, onwards and upwards really. So should we go right into talking about a Friday night's game, because we're dealing with a couple blanks, aren't we, in Game Week 28? So, in fact, no, we need to do Manager of the Week, don't we, Kieran?
We do. We need to do Cup picks as well and everything else.
Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. Well, that's enough about my team. So let's move on to Manager of the Week. Someone else.
Okay. So yeah, for Game Week 27 was Fish FC, which is Anton Arians, 104 points with his bench boost played. Wow. So he got 15 extra from his bench, but yeah, to be honest, his main team did all the business as well. A Game Week rank of 61, which is amazing, obviously. Wow. I didn't see literally anyone else even close to 104 points in the Cub League. So yeah, well played. Overall rank is up to 2,337, up from 20k. So yeah, awesome. Yeah, Pope 9 points, Stevens like you have, Bolly 6, Trent 10, Salah captain with a 14, Martial as well, and Bruno, Jimenez, and then Aubameyang as well. And then obviously his bench, who are all decent squad players. He's got a stacked squad there, so he's looking good from now on.
It's rare to see a squad without any blue in it. So I'm not seeing any Leicester in the form of Vardy or Maddison, any Chelsea, any Man City, all had some popular sort of picks this season. So yeah, unusual to see that red and gold everywhere. Wow, well done. Massive score. In the Cubs, get the gloat on. Get the gloat on.
Well, both my picks, my backup did well as well.
We don't care about backups.
It was Shane Long, but yeah, I know I went for Bruno in the end. I wish I had him in my team, annoyingly, but yeah, Bruno with a 14-point haul should have maybe have had the assist for the Martial one as well, which is a bit of a shame he didn't get that. But yeah, he looks great. So 14 points helped me a lot. You picked Pepe, who did get a return as well, got an assist. Didn't look like he did too much else, to be honest.
No,
but
I thought that.
Yeah, it's all right. So February-wise, I'm now up to 27 with that nice 14-point haul there, and you're on 14, so a nice lead in February for me. But total-wise, that 14-point haul, it's now dead all on 96 each.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, we're close with all of our points in our teams most weeks, but that Cub pick is literally close now. So
neck and neck.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. Cool. That's kind of good with 11 game weeks to go, Keith. That's going to be interesting.
Yes, indeed.
Have you picked one already for tonight's show?
You know what? I've completely forgot about it, so I'm gonna have to fly it on at the end.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get through the fixtures then, because like I say, we're dealing with one less this game. Oh, sorry, two less this game week. 4 teams aren't in action. Arsenal, Man City, Sheffield United, and Aston Villa all blanking. The first game actually happens on Friday night, so watch out for that deadline. It's at Norwich. Leicester are rocking up there.
Yeah.
Do you see this as a one we should be sort of getting back on Leicester assets for? They have got a nice run coming up now.
I think so. It's a big fixture swing, isn't it? So yeah, I'm obviously not happy to have kept Vardy over his blanks, but I'm happy to have him at the moment. For this run of fixtures, and Norwich and Villa in the next 2 have been awful defensively. Even Watford have been bad defensively. Yeah, I'm happy to own it, and I think we probably should be getting onto them. Are you looking at any others to bring in?
Well, it's a funny one. So, like you say, the fixtures are really great now. So they play 4 of the bottom 5, I think, in the next 4 games actually. So yeah pretty good. But it's just difficult, I think, for me with their. I mean, I own 2 of the players already in Vardy and Maddison, because they've been so bereft of form. Those 2, I'm sort of reluctant to get any more. But I do think if you are looking at defensive options, then Pereira might be one to go to. So in the last 4 away games, they've had 2 clean sheets. Pereira still sits at 6.3 million, but he's their most sort of attacking defensive player at the moment. He's had 5 shots in the box in the last 4. Chilwell next best on 3. Evans probably worth mentioning as well if you're looking for a cheaper option. I'm generally sort of talking about players you might be bringing in for those that are blanking this game week, because they do have a nice run. But Evans 5.2, 2 shots in the box and 1 big chance in the last 4 games, so they're not too bad on the defensive side of things. But yeah, I'm just waiting to see some more from Vardy again, man.
Yeah. Speaking of defenders, a second, I really want Pereira. I would love to get him in. I think he's only 13% owned, and 5 shots in the box for a defender. That's great, and I think he would be so good to own at this point. Just differential, and he's goals imminent as well. For someone like Lundstrom, maybe Grealish out to be able to get Pereira in. I think it's probably worth it. With Grealish's fixtures and Pereira looking so good at them. I think there's definitely a clean sheet this week, and then probably at least 2 more in the next 4. If he gets any attacking returns as well, your quid's in, because Grealish probably will get maybe 1, maybe 2 assists in the next 4 or something, if that. So yeah, I like Pereira a lot. But I have considered Soyuncu and Evans instead for Lundstrom, and this is probably for a hit. But yeah, I like them. I think Leicester are the way to go defensively as well, because they only conceded late against City. They looked good defensively as well. So if they got a clean sheet against City, then everyone would be going to their defensive assets. But,
definitely.
So I think form wise doesn't really apply as much to the defense. So yeah.
They were breached by Pukki, weren't they, in the reverse fixture, though? So I always sort of take a look at that just to see how previous form between the 2 teams has gone, because they sort of know who can score against the other. Does that put you off a little bit for this? I know the fixtures are really good, but do you think for this next 4 block you'd be interested in one of them?
Yeah, I would. Speaking of Pukki, he's blanked 3 in a row now. We were speaking about him if he had any sort of form, because their fixtures coming up are pretty good. Yeah. If he had sort of any form over the last few, then we'd be thinking about getting him in. But he's blanked 3 in a row now, and it's just it's not looking great for Norwich. I think they're probably destined to go down at this point, and maybe that'll be breaks off and they can just go for it. But Leicester clean sheet, I think. Yeah,
I sort of think they're going to go over the way of Huddersfield from now. Like you, I've got the vice captaincy on Vardy this week, but I don't really have any faith in him. So I was having a look at his points just to see how far he's tailed off. So his last PL or Premier League goal was on the 21st of December. Prior to that, which was game week 18, he returned in his previous 10 game weeks in a row. Since then, he's only scored 23 points. I had a little game with you the other night to see if you could guess some other strikers around that number. So Greenwood's actually bettered him in that time with 24, and even Haller who we sort of like deride quite weakly, is level with him on points. He's 15th overall for XG for strikers in that time, and a 0.9 XG in the last 4 games doesn't really inspire any sort of vice captaincy confidence. So yeah, despite the fixtures, the form is pretty woeful, and we've always sort of said that Vardy doesn't need a lot of chances to score, but yeah, this run has been going on such a long time now. This will be its 10th game week, I think. So,
well, I mean, he hit the post against City, and he should have buried that, but that's probably slightly down to form, maybe. Otherwise, he'd probably score. But honestly, I think I saw someone on Twitter mention it. I can't remember who, but like putting the vice on Vardy with the first game of the week might be shrewd, because there's, coronavirus is getting bigger now, and there might be postponements of game. We've Serie A is getting postponements all over the place at the moment, so that might start to happen in the UK, because it is getting a bit bigger over here now. So vice on Vardy seems wise, possibly, so you can have a captain at least if anything is proposed.
Can we move away from FPL for 1 second just to get a quick yes or no about how worried about coronavirus you are?
Well, I can't really say a yes or no, can I?
Yes, are you worried? No, you're not worried.
In terms of me or for FPL?
For you. We're going personal.
Suppose.
Okay.
I guess.
I'm worried. Okay, cool. Right, there's coronavirus chat done, tick.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much all I had on Leicester, really. I mean, I had put some alternative sort of striking options down if Vardy fails to deliver this game week, and who have some good fixtures coming up. And sort of Aubameyang looks like he would be the one to move on to, but I think I would sort of give him this Norwich and Aston. I mean, I've been giving him a lot of game weeks, as you have, but Norwich and Aston Villa, Watford and Brighton. I mean, Norwich and Villa have conceded the most shots of all teams in the last 4, and Norwich have the 5th worst record. So I mean, I think there's going to be ample chance over these next 2 for big returns
this week. I think he finally scores this week.
I hope so.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a haul, but I think he'll just get a goal and just a 6-pointer sort of thing. But yeah. And then obviously before we move on, there's Barnes. Everyone's talking about Barnes. But he did obviously get dropped the first time they played 3-5-2 all season. So I don't know if that's the thing they're going to continue with. Who knows? But he does look like a good possible Traore replacement, assuming they continue with the 3-4-3 or whatever they play. But yeah, he has looked good. And I've said before, I think he's possibly a bit of a trap, but seems like the best sort of option around that price, honestly. So
yeah, no, I like
him. I think he's a good pick.
Yeah. All right, on to the strange derby, Brighton against Palace. Palace, they won obviously last time out, keeping a clean sheet against Newcastle. PVA scored their goal. He is now the most informed player in their team. So he's had 18 points in the last 4, but get this, right, he's only played 3. That's the most of any Palace player, thanks in part mainly to that 15-point haul against Newcastle. It just goes to show sort of how the rest of the team is performing at the moment, really. Like the fact that he's played 3 and that haul has elevated him to the top of their overall points. I think their defensive numbers are pretty bang average. They're middle of the league at the moment, so 5.5 expected goals conceded and actually 6 conceded in their last 4 games. They're not really inspiring me with a lot of confidence, Palace. Their running is tough as well, so 5 of their last 11 games against the traditional Big 6, and they also play Wolves. So I don't think they'll come into this one with too much confidence.
Well, it's Brighton away. I think they should be fairly confident. I mean, I think their next 5 are decent. Obviously, Liverpool is obviously tough, but yeah, PVA is pretty low owned, and I think he's on penalties as well while Millie's out of the team. So yeah, he probably massive differential, and if he can do that every week, I think he's taking all the corners at the moment as well. And yeah, I think he shares free kicks, but yeah, going off last week, then he'll probably be on them full time. So yeah, defender that takes free kicks and corners, then just like Robertson and Trent, you need to possibly get on them. But we can't really be that trustful in Crystal Palace. But they are a good defensive side, so they will pick up a few clean sheets in these. So
yeah, I'm not so sure. I think they're going to get beaten by Brighton this weekend. I think Maupay, after last weekend's show, and I thought they put on a good performance. So
all right, well, maybe a clean sheet against Bournemouth then.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'll back you on Bournemouth. What was there on the Brighton side of things to get excited about? Anything?
Not really, honestly. I mean, they're pretty bit sort of middle of the table with their XG, their XGC as well. Both middle of the table. Mopai is first goal since week 17. So he's had 10 weeks of blanks with only 2 assists in that time. But the fixtures are poor. I mean, Crystal Palace at home is probably their best one in the next 5. They got Wolves away, Arsenal at home, Leicester away, Man United at home. So those are rough. And then the only other person to mention, not really to pick up, is just Dunk. He's still at 13.4% owned. Maybe that's dead teams, but they've only actually had 1 clean sheet since week 11.
Wow.
Which is awful. And 6th for XG for defenders. I suppose that's quite good for Dunk. Joint 3rd for shots for defenders. His expected points of 21, but his actual real points are 6. So it's rough times for Brian right now, and they're not getting much better with these fixtures. So they probably need to pick up this win this week. But no one I can really mention to bring in as well.
No, I can understand that. Yeah, it's not really one a game I'm sort of pinning too much on for any fantasy assets. It's probably just worth mentioning, actually. I mean, we have slated Palace's attack in recent weeks, but it's actually picked up. So they've had an XG of 4.42 in the last 4 games. Only 2 goals scored in that time. So I was just going to say to you, Keek, if you're getting fed up with Ings, then Benteke looked like he was rediscovering his magic touch in the game against Newcastle. He had a total of 3 shots, and now you had 5, so plenty of choice for you there. No?
It's a no from me.
You don't sound keen. Oh, okay.
No, definitely not. I think I'd have to quit FPL if I ever bought Benteke.
Okay. Maybe we could do dead teams next season, and you can have Benteke game week 1.
Right. Sounds good.
All right. Bournemouth against Chelsea is also a game happening this weekend. Bournemouth coming off the back of a defeat again this weekend, wasn't it? I believe it was at Burnley. They lost 3-0. 3 goals to VAR and none to Burnley.
They were so unlucky though. That Harry Wilson goal, that was such a good move from Bournemouth.
It was, yeah.
And then that to be chalked off with the penalty at the other end, it's just like, oh my god, that, like Hal said in the interview, like to have a goal and then it to be taken away instantly was very sort of like disappointing for the players, and they found it hard to get back from it, which I think is kind of understandable, to be honest. But they've had previous against Chelsea as well, haven't they? So especially this year when Chelsea were looking really good and Bournemouth were looking terrible, and they got that clean sheet. It was away at Chelsea, wasn't it? So amazing. No one saw that coming. So that could happen again. Like Bournemouth have been terrible. Chelsea look okay at the moment. That could happen again. But yeah, Harry Wilson, I think he's only actually 5 points behind Callum Wilson for this whole season.
Wow.
And I don't know, is that good for Harry Wilson or really bad?
I think it's bad for Callum.
Yeah. So
after his last season, anyway.
Yes, true. So Harry Wilson, 13 shots, 1 big chance, XG of 0.96, an XA of 1.19, 4 key passes, 1 assist. He's matching his expected points basically with 20 and his actual with 18. So I think around that price point is the Barnes, Traore, Wilson sort of price point. You could do worse. I think Traore, if he's not nailed on, Harry Wilson possibly, but the fixtures are terrible. So I'm just pointing out that he has a differential at only 2.2% owned, and his stats are okay, I suppose. So, but then I own Rico. A lot of people still do as well, especially on Twitter. He's at 10.8% ownership, but bench last week. So I'm hoping that's just his sort of rest and rotation after playing quite a few in a row. That has happened before, so I might need him for this week if I'm not taking a hit. I need him to play, otherwise I will get 10 players in this blank.
Did he come on? I don't even know if he came on or not.
No, he didn't. So,
oh god.
Yeah.
And, is he a question mark for you to remove this weekend now because of that?
Not this week. I think he's still just a third bench option, just being there and assuming he'll get minutes. But it just happens to be that this week I need him, and he gets blanked the week or benched the week before. So just unfortunate. But I don't think I'm changing him at the moment. I think it's Lundstrom that needs to go first.
That makes sense. Chelsea side of things, I just was surprised at how poor their form was. Like looking at the results after or taking into account the Spurs game, that was actually their first win in 5. Like, if you think back to last season, if Sarri was doing that, there'd be so much more uproar. But that seems to have gone like under the radar quite quietly. So I do think there's quite a lot of like faith in Lampard from the Chelsea fans that he'll sort of like get it right and not to make too much of a fuss. But yeah, they have lost their last two league games against Bournemouth. So they lost that one you mentioned 1-0 earlier in the season. They lost last 0 and then when Sarri locked them all in the dressing room, I think that was 4-0. So I thought one of the interesting stats in all these previous meetings is that in their last 5 meetings, one of the two teams has always kept a clean sheet. So that could be worth thinking about this weekend. In terms of the defensive options for Chelsea, it's Rudiger and Azpilicueta lead the way for expected points over the last 4 game weeks. So Rudiger is expected to have 24.7. He's actually managed 17. That's thanks due in part to the goal he scored a couple game weeks ago. But Azpilicueta is not too far behind in terms of shots in the box. So Rudiger's had 4 in the last 4. Azpilicueta's had 3. And to notch up 25 expected points and net 17 is quite good for Rudy. But I mean, their defence isn't the best. So 1 clean sheet in the last 5, that was against that toothless Spurs attack. I'm not quite sure on the Chelsea defence. And in the Chelsea attack, Giroud, like I was saying to you when the game was on, I think if Giroud started, just because he's slightly more clinical than Tammy, I think if he started every game this past season, he'd manage 15 to 20 goals, no problem. A bit like Tammy, but I feel like Tammy misses a hell of a lot of chances. I thought it was typical of him that he came on for about 20 minutes to have one big chance and miss it. Which
it wasn't just a big chance; it was like the biggest of chances. I don't know how he misses that. He's a paid footballer and he just can't just touch his foot onto the ball.
Really?
It's mental, really. Have you not seen it?
No, I haven't actually.
It's like, just played through and it's one of those sort of Sterling back post things, but he's there and he just doesn't put his foot on it. It's really weird. Like,
no way.
But yeah, strange.
Yeah, I saw the highlights. I saw all the goals, but I don't know. Maybe they just didn't show that to save his blushes. But yeah, typically he's still owned by 20%, so he's still an interesting pick. But I'm interested to see if he gets his spot back.
There was pictures of him in the warm down in the Bayern game last night. He sort of pulled up lame apparently, so he might have done a hamstring in the warm down or something. We don't actually know for sure, but yeah, Giroud could be an actual FPL sort of choice coming up because obviously their fixtures are looking good. So Giroud possibly 6.5 million, cheap and nailed on striker who has obviously previous in the Prem. Not a bad option. Defense wise, I think James is possibly one I was possibly looking at as well, around that sort of like coming in for Lundstrom. One of them keeps a clean sheet in this fixture. I think their other fixtures are decent. Obviously Everton at home, toughish, but James looks nailed at the moment. Villa away looks good. West Ham away looks good. So James with his sort of attacking potential as well is a possibility for sure.
I like it. All right, well, let's move on and talk about Newcastle against Nick Pope FC.
Yes.
All right, cool. Newcastle, now to be honest, these two teams, probably like you, are sort of standing out to me as picks for defensive replacements this week.
Yeah.
So I'm sure a lot of people watching and listening will have seen our teams up on screen by now, but just to recap sort of what players we have affected. So I have a Sheffield United player and a Crystal Palace player Kelly's not in the side. You have potentially Rico and also Lundstrom. I mean, I'm looking at these two teams and thinking this is where we might get some clean sheets from if we're going to take some or make a transfer for a defender this week, I should say. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So Newcastle wise, their XGC is 9.11. Sorry, with 7 conceded in the last 4 weeks. But 5 of their 7 clean sheets this season have come at home. So 3 of the next 4 are at home, and they're not against sort of great attacking sides. Burnley, Sheffield United, Villa, not known for their goals.
No, sure.
So they've got a history of clean sheets at home. I think they could be worth looking at, to be honest. But they did look absolutely woeful against Palace last week. So, but that's an away performance, and we're used to them being battered in away games. So, there's Dubravka. I thought has looked pretty good. 5 million. He made a howler last week, but 5 million, 1.8% owned. He's since Gameweek 23, his saves per game have been 3, 6, 4, 3, and 8. So he's basically been nailed on for an extra point at least from saves every week. He's performing consistently, I suppose, but you could do worse in that sort of keeper region. Someone like Ben Foster, I suppose. But I don't know if you want to go there for at least nailed onness. Lascelles is sort of injury prone. Fernandez doesn't really do too much. Then the others are a bit sort of rotation prone as well. So Dubravka, if you do want to go there, I think is a decent option.
Yeah. No, I mean, there'd be some people with Henderson in goal and potentially maybe not a second keeper. So, if you got him recently and it's not too much of a hit to get rid of him, Dubravka could be a good one. It's an interesting one this game week. I don't know if you feel the same, but I feel like there's such a shift in fixture or towards sort of like fixtures for defenders, if that makes sense. So Newcastle, Southampton, Leicester, I'd even probably put Burnley and Sheffield United after the blank in that category. All teams that have really great fixtures over the next 4 or 5. I mean, I'm reluctant to ever play 5 at the back, but I will be this weekend. But Wolves as well, sorry, I should say. Yeah, Wolves have got some good fixtures. So there's a lot of teams at the moment having really nice fixtures. Liverpool, it goes without saying. So I think there's defensive returns to be had.
That's why I'm sort of tempted by the Grealish out as well to switch to a 4-3-3 because the fixtures for the defenders and the sort of more premiums ones in the Pereira and the Dohertys are there. Yeah. And obviously Doherty has done well recently, and I think Pereira will start to return too. So, there could be that switch in the template coming. Yeah,
definitely. I sort of want to get ahead of that a little bit and try and pick someone good. I think in this game particularly, my sort of like low-key differential I'm looking at is Charlie Taylor to double up on that Burnley defence in this one.
God.
I know it sounds horrific.
It's just so annoying that like you get a clean sheet from Nick Pope every week and you're just going to be double down in it. I'm going to be so frustrated every single week.
Like 12 points banked whenever it happens.
I just can't stand just Pope every week just getting this clean sheet, and it just grates on me so hard.
Yeah. But, since Charlie Taylor came into the team game week 18 again, same time as Vardy started blanking, maybe there's some sort of connection there. He's had 4 clean sheets in that time. 3 of them have been the last 4 games, so they're in good form recently defensively, and he's picked up a couple bonus in those games. Newcastle failed to score in the last 3 games, and Burnley are undefeated in the last 5. They're actually only 4 points off potential Champions League qualification. That's if City do get banned. So, they've shot right up recently thanks in part to Nick Pope's heroics.
Can you imagine Burnley in the Champions League?
I know. The thing is, they had that awful season, didn't they, a couple of seasons ago where they got
It
Europa.
would ruin them. It would ruin them if they did.
Yeah. But Charlie Taylor's cheap. He's 4.2, and I mean, he seems like a like for Kelly for me. I don't have to spend any money out of the bracket, so he's potentially coming in. It's just difficult because on one side, I could see this game being a 0-0, and it would make sense for me to get Lascelles on the Newcastle side, but doubling down on Burnley is also quite I don't know, an interesting.
But you're not
option.
Scared of their fixtures? Tottenham at home afterwards, Man City away.
Not like I said, I've got quite a lot of other good defenders because I think I've still got double Liverpool and Stevens, and I think I'd probably get a Sheffield United defender again. But we'll talk more about our transfers at the end. It's probably also worth mentioning McNeil in this one because I thought he looked just fantastic in that game against Bournemouth. So I think goal assist, the 3 key passes, 3 shots, and hit the woodwork. Interesting change of position because he played on the right when he usually plays on the left, whipping balls in. He played on the right and cut in. He had 2 good shots from just sort of like what would be the right-hand side of the penalty box, that one that hit the post, I think, and the one that went in. So it'd be interesting to see if Dyche continues with him there because I could see him becoming more of an attacking threat. But 8 attacking returns from the season now. Worth saying that these were the first since game week 12, so it's not exactly like he's been consistent, but maybe this new position Kiki could see the best out of him. 6 million as well.
I mean, I know that Andy FPL on Twitter bench boosted with him in it, so well done to him.
Yeah, definitely, that was a nice move. I saw he had a big week.
Yep.
All right, West Ham against Southampton is happening if coronavirus permitting.
There's so many just dead rubber fixtures this week, seems like.
Do you think?
Yeah, especially the last one. And the Bournemouth and Chelsea seems kind of boring as well. Just Brighton, Crystal Palace, they're crap, aren't they?
Yeah. But when you take Man City out of the equation, then it does get slightly less exciting because they've been good. But all right, West Ham. Let's talk about them a little bit because there's a few things to mention on the Southampton side, isn't there? I mean, but do you want to start on West Ham after their good showing against Liverpool Monday night?
I mean, they were padding their XG against a woeful Liverpool defence, right?
That's exactly what they were doing.
Yeah, so XG has been 4.94, but they scored 6. So obviously they were on for their sort of expected sort of goals, but they obviously got 2 against Liverpool. Nobody really expected that. So, but their XGC is 11.71 with 14 conceded, which is 20th overall, which is obviously dead last. And fixtures are pretty terrible because obviously Southampton have been pretty good lately. Bad, Arsenal away, Wolves at home, Tottenham away, Chelsea at home. It's just like, this is bad times for West Ham. So I think, they're probably going to go. They should probably fire Moyes again, get Big Sam in for the relegation march, and get it going because they need to survive somehow. And I don't think the Moyes is the guy for it, is he? So. But honestly, the only guy I can even think of mentioning is Antonio.
Oh, he did look good, didn't he? He always looked. He
passed the eye test, right? Yeah. But he's only had 3 returns all season, which I didn't actually expect. I was thinking, surely he's had more than that. But 1 return since week 13. His XG is 0.94, XA of 0.74. 10 shots, 1 big chance, 2 key passes, and 1 big chance created. So his stats are okay-ish, but. Honestly, can't suggest getting anyone in at the moment. I think they're a dead rubber team for FPL, to be honest.
Yeah, and they got some tough fixtures as well coming up. Really tough. So
it's horrible. Stay away.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, their defensive stats been bad. So they've conceded 2 goals in each of their last 5 games. That includes that Liverpool game where, of course, they conceded 3. So West Ham, they've failed to win 9 of their last 10 games, and Saints are actually quite good away from home. On the road, they're the 5th best for XG in the last 4 away games, so I could see the Southampton win coming here. And
Danny Ings hat-trick, maybe?
Well, maybe
or
more like a Shane Long.
Yeah.
So this Ings guy, right, so he's basically stopped deciding to be an asset as soon as we've got him in. So he had 1 big chance missed, 3 shots, 2 off target, 1 key pass, and then he got subbed on the 73rd minute at the weekend. But just, I don't know. I feel like this game he's going to come back. So in the last 4, he's had an XG of 1.01, scored 1, which is actually the 3rd best in the Southampton team. So he's even getting beaten by Shane Long on XG. My head has been turned a little bit, Kiko, I have to say, by Calvert-Lewin. And maybe even a huge differential coming up here. Jay Rodriguez, Kieran.
No.
Burnley. He's had 2.75 XG with 4 big chances in the last 4 games, which is 3 more than Ings. But I think their
he'll be out the side as soon as Wood or whatever is back in Barnes.
Yeah. So, well, Rodriguez has done well. But anyway, Ings has done well on the road in their last 4 away appearances. He's had 12 shots in the box, 3 big chances, an XG of 2.03, basically, of 1 goal scored. So that XG is really good on away games. So that's only bettered by Aguero, Jesus, Firmino, and Calvert-Lewin for forwards. So he's looked really good on the road. And I might consider vice captain on Ings, actually, and switching it over from Vardy. I think West Ham are a poor team at the moment, and
they are.
Saints are good on the road. So
yeah. I think you've got to target West Ham right now for clean sheets and goals. So yeah, Ings, and we both got a defender as well. So if both of our guys blank in this fixture, then we should quit FPL again.
We're doing a lot of quitting tonight.
Yeah.
All right. No,
it seems nailed on, but I guess it never works out like that.
No. So you don't fancy Kings Hall in this one, then? You don't fancy the vice captaincy on it? You've shaken your head, then?
Well, no, just because of the Corona fears, maybe not because of that, but just I fancy Vardy more. I think he's got to get back on it. So yeah.
All right. On to probably the most interesting game of the game week for FPL point of view, because everyone owns all their players. It's Liverpool rocking up at Watford. I thought Watford looked quite good against United before they got sort of smothered after the Fernandes penalty. Do you reckon they've got anything in their locker to get past this Liverpool side? Or get anything from this game? They need it.
Well, okay, so their XG is 3.08 at the moment with 4 scored, which is dead last, 20th overall. So their XG has completely dropped off a cliff, honestly. I think a few weeks back, Dini was getting something like an XG of 3.3-ish by himself, and now the whole team has got an XG of 3. It's like, so yeah, it's pretty bad right now. Their XGC is 6.85 with 9 conceded, so they're underperforming their XGC as well. Pearson honeymoon period gone. I mean, they've had 59 shots conceded, which is not the worst over the last 4 weeks, but the third worst for shots conceded in the box with 44.
Wow.
So, 59 shots conceded, but 44 of them in the box. So I think you can start targeting for them for goals from now on. So obviously Liverpool this week, good fixture to do that.
Yeah.
So they've had 31 shots themselves in the last 4 weeks, which is the least of all teams by 4, and only 8 of them are on target. 8 shots on target. That's terrible.
Yeah.
And that is last of all teams by actually quite some distance, at least half of the next team. So they're second to last for all big chances created. All signs point to them being pretty bad again, honestly. But I think they've missed Sarr, but I think he's fit again. So, maybe he makes a difference. Who knows? But Liverpool clean sheet seems like it's fairly odds on here, to be honest.
Yeah, I think didn't Sarr come on towards the end of the game? And looked quite unfit by all accounts, is all I heard.
Did he? Okay. Well,
I think he only had 20 minutes or so, but maybe. But I mean, like you say, when he was in full fitness and Pearson had just taken over, he looked like a proper player.
Yeah.
So they need to get him back quite quickly. But like you say, I think this has got a Liverpool win all over it. So just talk about some sort of like headline Liverpool points on this one. So they kept a clean sheet in 5 of their last 6 away games. And interestingly, Poole have kept a clean sheet in their last 4 games against Watford specifically, scoring 15 goals in the process. They're the second highest for expected goals on the road, last 4 away, and basically have underperformed as well a little bit. So they should have had a couple more than the 6 they had. They should have actually had about 8 according to the XG stats. So, I mean, we usually talk about players we like, and it's difficult with this Liverpool team because we all know every week how well they're doing. So I thought I'd sort of make this more of like a captaincy chat. So be interesting to hear your thoughts on some of these numbers as we head into this one. So I had a look at because I mean, Liverpool seemed like an obvious pick for captaincy this weekend, and whether you put it on one of the 100%. Defenders or Salah is probably going to be your biggest decision of the game week. So looking at their last 4 away games, the highest scoring players are actually Trent and Salah tied on 25, with Alisson just behind on 24 and Gomez and Robbo on 22. So, food for thought when it comes to the defence, because it sort of shows how well they've done. Interestingly, though, in the last 4 away games, Salah has tripled Trent's big chances created, 3-1. He's also had 2 more key passes, which I found very surprising, considering Trent is usually bang top of that stat. So, 8-6. Salah's had the most shots in the box of all Liverpool players with 12. That's actually tied, with Firmino. Firmino does beat Salah on big chances, which he's had 5 to Salah's 1. So, I think that the takeaway numbers from an attacking point of view in the last 4 games are Salah's had 3 attacking returns, Henderson in there as well on 3, Trent's on 1, and Mane's had 1. So I thought the main thing when I was looking at all these numbers were the fact that the defensive numbers were big because of those clean sheets, and Trent's numbers for XA and XG basically were less than 0.5 each on the road in the last 4 away games. So I could see a clean sheet happening in this game for sure, but I could also see Salah getting a couple. So I think at the moment my captaincy is more likely to be on Salah than it is on Trent. Yeah,
it was this fixture, I think, a couple of years back as well, when a blank fixture as well, when Salah against Watford. Yeah. He scored 4, didn't he, or something? So
at Anfield, remember that was a huge game.
And speaking of Trent, he's not blank since Gameweek 17. He's had an either assist or a clean sheet in every week since week 17. So, and I think he was the only defender to ever get to 12 assists or something in a Premier League season, and he's done that 2 seasons in a row, and he's now only in February as well. So, next year, 8.5 mil? Like,
I think feasibly,
it's crazy. So I obviously hope he continues, and like we said before, there's 50% of the game that still don't own him, which is absolutely mental. So I was glad to at least get 4 points from Robertson as well, because like I said last week, he's been due an assist and he's been unlucky not to get it, but he did well this week. So
definitely. Well, I mean, do all the sort of numbers I've brought up sort of make you think Salah over Trent? Or...
I think so this week. Just I don't know. There's something in me that thinks possibly one clean sheet might breed another. A clean sheet gone, might breed another sort of clean sheet wipeout. I have a slight feeling that Deeney might get something. But I obviously hope not. But...
I think what it's also worth considering as well is they've got the big Champions League game, haven't they, against Atletico in the week after this one, I believe. So it's be interesting to see if Klopp does undertake any rotation. Obviously, they've got to come back from that game.
I can't see rotation, honestly. I think if they win the next 4, then they can tie the league up. So I think they'll probably just go for that.
In fact, I'm wrong. It's not the Atletico game. It's the FA Cup game against Chelsea. Sorry.
Well, then there you go. It should be fine. Yeah. And I think possibly if they don't win one, they'll get to the chance to win it at City as well in the 5 weeks time. So
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just think Liverpool are so good at the moment, and watching them on Monday was just so exciting because like most of the game have a Liverpool player captain now, and just they're going to score. And the clean sheets were the clean sheet wipeout was such a surprise. Everyone was like, well, now go and get some attacking returns.
Yeah.
And like the most popular 2 defenders did. So, no, it was good game.
Neither of us support them, but I felt like them going 2-1 behind, I never felt like they were going to lose that game. It always felt like they were either going to draw or win the game still. So that's probably just how good they are right now. Yeah,
I'm absolutely fascinated, though, by that Atletico game. I know we don't do a Champions League stream, but the return leg of that, Atletico did a bit of a number on them and restricted them so much. Played Atletico's own game, which is totally fair enough. So it'd be interesting to see how they react to that in that away game.
It shows how if you are a solid defensive team, then you actually can sit back and defend against them. Yeah. Whereas just like teams have tried to do it in the Premier League, but they're just not good enough to do it. No. So, but it is a viable strategy. Yeah, definitely.
All right, on to the Sunday games, I believe. Everton host Man United in the earlier fixture. We've been talking about Dominic Calvert-Lewin for quite a while now, and Richarlison as well, and they both returned. I feel like, have we missed the boat on them, or do you think they're still good options?
We've not. Neither of us have owned them, have we? And stupidly, to be honest. The question was, are they going to continue returning over these fixtures? And DCL, as we've said, is cheap enough to just bear with him and just keep him in, wasn't he? So, but yeah, the team stats, their XG is 8.85, 10 scored, which is 3rd overall, and an XGC of 3.68 with 8 conceded, which is obviously not great, but 8 conceded. Where did that 8 concede come from? I can't even remember. They must have conceded lots in one
3
game.
In the Arsenal game. I'm trying to think where else.
But that is 3rd overall for the XGC as well. So they're performing, well, apart from the 8 conceded, their expected stats is good. So they're performing on both sides of the ball. So they're joint 2nd for big chances conceded the last few weeks of 4, which is obviously decent. A 4th best for shots conceded with 39, which is good. Their first for big chances created as a team for 11. 2nd for goals scored last 4 weeks of 10. 2nd for big chances, 14. So yeah, Everton doing well under Ancelotti. People seem to think their defence is not being great, but I mean, I suppose that 8 says it's not.
They have they conceded in each of their last 5. So just having a quick look back. So I remember they conceded 2 against Watford away, and then they drew with Newcastle, where they threw those 2 goals away late on when you had City V. That one. And obviously the 3 against Arsenal. So it's not like they have been.
I think they've just been a bit unlucky. Like the XG has been 3.68, and if they weren't unlucky to get that, they've been keeping lots of clean sheets, I think. So but Pickford is terrible as well, so he's at fault for that Crystal Palace goal with Benteke. So there's that too. So defensively, I think you probably don't want to go near, but attacking wise, I think you keep DCL. Obviously that goal against Arsenal was good. Obviously maybe not a hard fixture for Arsenal. Historically been bad defensively, but his XG is 3.01, XA of 0.61, 16 shots, which is way up there. 6 big chances as well. He reminds me of Van Nistelrooy, the sort of complete striker of being a poacher. A great shot on him, harasses defenders. So I think he's good right now and worth keeping. Maybe not worth buying, but definitely worth keeping.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, if I didn't have so much faith in Vardy to get back on the track in what are now easier fixtures, I would definitely be on DCL. Like, he's doubled Vardy's points or more than doubled, I think, since Vardy's been blanking. So I mean, if some wise person had seen the future and made the switch, then they would be laughing. But yeah, I remember comparing him quite a while back now to Mapai, because Everton's and Brighton's fixtures both turned at the same time, and they're both sort of similar prices. And what he's done has just been, well, I don't think anyone could have, exactly, anyone could have predicted it really. He's been shown faith by 2 managers, and he's just kept returning. And what a finish it was as well. Like,
a lot of people were saying high foot. I mean, he probably is kind of lucky for it not to have been chalked off, but he was in the position to do it. So I'm just looking at the fixtures now. Like Gameweek 34 to 38, the run in is very, very good. Southampton at home, Wolves away, Villa at home, Sheffield United away, Bournemouth at home.
Yeah,
great.
Nice
time to own him then.
I feel like I will get him sometime this season, or Richarlison, because they both look good. On the United side of things, obviously the main talking point is the new boy, Bruno. Bruno. So in the game against Watford, a goal, obviously, assist, 4 key passes, 3 shots, 1 big chance created. I'd say pretty much the complete performance and the sort of thing they bought him for. Tucked in behind Martial. Already gone up 0.2 million since he's joined the league, 7.1%. That was last night, so he might have even gone up even more ownership today. So
I'm keeping an eye on him at the moment, so I'm definitely bringing him in. But
his numbers are good soon. So having a little deeper dive into the his sort of, let's say, his attacking play. So he's had a total of 10 shots since his league debut, which is the 6th highest of all players. He's had 27 penalty box touches. For someone that's playing sort of like high midfield, I thought that was quite impressive, which is the 5th highest of all players in the league. So that was a really striking one, especially that's higher than Martial. He's obviously on set pieces, free kicks and pens now until the end of the season. Apparently, I don't know if you've seen this stat as well, but he's not missed a penalty in his professional career. I don't know if that was just hyperbole, but
no, I think his record is very good.
Yeah,
but I didn't know he's not missed any at all. But that's great.
No, it was good. The only thing he's sort of outperforming by quite a long way is his expected assists. So he's had 2 from an expected amount of 0.6. So that is something to look at. But I would say that his 2 assists have come from, or one came from a set play, didn't it? And one came from that really good Greenwood finish. So I think with set plays, a bit like what Maddison offers to an extent, they're always going to be a potential in the background.
Exactly.
You know someone could always get a header on it, and if he's got the sort of delivery he showed for that Maguire goal, then I do think he's going to get a bit more.
I think I read like he's the top for all United players already, of like well ahead of like shots, big chances, crosses, and all that stuff. Like, so he is just providing everything that everyone expected him to, and more so. And he's become an asset so quickly. Like you said, set pieces is in his locker as well. And I think you just need to own him, because his ownership is going to go up so quickly, because the United bandwagon is there, as we've seen before. And I just checked, he's on 7.5% now ownership. So it's just going to go up there. It's probably going to be towards 10, I reckon, by the time Friday comes around. So he's not going to be a differential for long, honestly. And I just wish I'd got him last week, honestly. I just thought that Mahrez against his old team...
You still got some good points though from Mahrez, didn't you? And he's
of course,
still differential.
Yeah, but Mahrez obviously blanking this weekend. Bruno's coming in 100%, and I just excited to watch my player.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. On the defensive side of things, United obviously look good. 3 clean sheets on the bounce now. Maguire's chipping him a goal. Wan-Bissaka got that assist against Chelsea. It was actually Shaw, though, who surprised me when I was having a look at the numbers. So despite no goal involvement, he's sort of playing a slightly different position. He's picked up a single bonus in each of his last 2 games. So he's netted 14 points in that time. And he's actually looking quite good for general baseline bonus. So he's the highest in the league for defenders, behind fellow fullbacks Robertson and Walker in the last 4. So
it's higher than Wan-Bissaka, is he?
Yeah, for baseline bonus. Yeah, so however Ollie's got him playing in that little position, it seems like he's a bit more tucked in. He's obviously getting the ball a hell of a lot and doing the right things with it. So he's ticking along quite nicely. And it did surprise me to see that he picked up a single bonus for doing absolutely zip in both of those 2 games.
It seems like Williams will only ever play with him. It doesn't seem like Shaw will ever be dropped for Williams at this point. So, there's that. Yeah,
no, it's interesting. All right. That's pretty much all I got to say on United. Do you think they're going to win this one? I feel like they're going to score, but I don't see a win coming here, funnily enough. I'm never confident anymore as a United fan.
I think they will, actually. I think they usually do quite well against Everton.
Okay.
as far as I can remember, anyway. A 2-1, something like that. I don't see a clean sheet, but I think Bruno, possible last minute something or other, possibly penalty. I'm just feeling it.
In their recent histories, they've won 3 of their last 6 visits, and Martial's scored in 2 of their most recent games there. So he obviously likes playing at Goodison. United have a tricky fixture after this, though. So I feel like these two are tricky. Everton away has notoriously always been difficult, despite their 3 wins, close games, and then they've got City at home. So,
but they're like Everton's defence. Obviously, Pickford is always due a mistake, and they've conceded 8, as we've said. Recently, so I think it's going to be an open game either way. Like, it's not going to be like possession based.
No,
it's going to be because Everton think they can probably try and win as well. So I think it should be pretty decent. But even for Charles and DCL, I think they could get points as well. So it could be like a 2-1, 2-2, something like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hope it's a good one, because I feel like it should be.
I hope so.
Okay, on to the last game of the game week, Spurs against Wolves. Now, you told me before we started you haven't really got a lot to say about Spurs, and that's probably because of all their injuries. I actually have
nothing to say. Yeah, Bergwijn and Lucas have looked pretty poor, honestly. Ali has looked awful too, and even Aurier, who's in some teams, was benched last week. So, yeah, honestly, I've nothing to say. No. I think you just need to stay away at the moment, honestly.
I think their fixtures are not the worst. I mean, they've got 3 home games in the next 4, Wolves, Man United and West Ham, but like you say, their sort of like choice defender Aurier getting benched was a bit of a surprise.
I think it's a Wolves clean sheet this week.
Yeah, I could see that too. That's why I'm sort of gravitating towards getting Seiss in for my defensive options. But interesting, like you say, about clean sheet. So oddly, the last time these two teams have met, the away team has kept a clean sheet. So that could triple up. I do like a bit of history like that. I think it does come to fruition.
I think it's just coincidence, isn't it?
I don't know. I feel like sometimes maybe it's like the colours of the shirts, Geek. They just sort of see each other like, oh yeah, we should lose to you guys. Oh, now we should win. Anyway, Wolves on the road. XG's not too bad. Quite middle of the road, really. They've had an XG of 5.4, scored 4, so slightly underperforming. The defence is probably their main area of interest at the moment. So they've come into this one on the back of 3 clean sheets. And Spurs' only goal in the last 2 games was that own goal scored by, was it Rudiger who knocked it in his own net?
Yeah.
Or deflected it in. Yeah, so, like you, I could potentially see a Wolves clean sheet in this one. Doherty has been sort of like the main attacking influence, let's say, on the Wolves side. So he's had 3 big chances and 5 shots in the box in the last 4 games. 3 key passes, 1 big chance created, and add 3 clean sheets to that, and you've got something hot.
Did you see his assist?
Yeah.
Did you see where he was? He was in the penalty spot in open play,
it's mad.
Passing it to Jota, and I think that's mental. What is he doing there in open play? Just on the break, I think. Like,
I love it.
But yeah, grats to anyone that gambled on him, because I think he's going to do well over the next few. I just can't afford him. If I could, I would 100% have gone there, but I just can't.
He's 6.1 still. He's still a differential, 5%, but that price is just such a hangover from last season. I feel like it was maybe 0.5 too high. A bit like Pereira, really. But, can complain all I want about that. But, so he's looking really good, and their fixtures are still good. So after this Spurs game, they host Brighton, and then they go away to West Ham, and then they have Bournemouth at home, and then they go away to Villa. So I still think there's clean sheets in there, and if you've got the funds for someone that's blanking this week, perhaps if you had a Man City defender for some unknown reason, then maybe Doherty could be one.
I mean, I would like the triple up. Would you? Is that a thing you're looking at?
Triple up in
Wolves players?
Yeah, potentially. It's 2 defenders, 1 striker.
Possibly. I mean,
you've already got Dendoncker.
Annoyingly, I already have a triple up. Yeah, with Dendoncker, so I can't unless I change him out for someone. I can't. Yeah, so foresight, hindsight, badly done there, but and he's not even nailed on. So
no, it's tricky.
Yeah.
You'd have to make 2 transfers to do that, but I feel like there's a lot of good assets. Jota's obviously coming to the fore again at the minute, so
you could even go Jota and Jimmy up top.
Yeah, definitely.
At the same time, but get rid of Innings, who isn't really performing right now. Like it. Yeah,
so Jota, he scored those 2 goals in the game last weekend against Norwich. He's got 3 in the previous game against, I think it was Espanyol in the Europa League. But it is worth noting, despite all his flashy goals, his numbers have not been as good as Jimenez in the last 4. So he's had three fewer shots in the box, 9 to 12. His XG's 2.0 to Jimmy's 2.2. And his expected assists is actually lower as well. He's had 0.5 expected assists to 0.9. So, I mean, it's not a huge difference across those last 4 games, but it does make me think that perhaps that might start to level out a little more. But yeah, he has looked good. And he had such a good end to the season last season. Perhaps he's going to do something similar this.
Yeah, it'll be way too sideways to go Jimmy to Jota.
It would, yeah.
I think if you want him, you have to get him as well. Or just if you don't already have Jimenez, then you possibly just go to Jota. But yeah, he's streaky, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
But this is his sort of time. So, and obviously they've still got Europa League tomorrow. So wait until they've played that at least, because he could get injured. Who knows?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, he could do. And United players have got something to think about as well, because they've got their game as well before Thursday. So definitely.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't. Bruno doesn't go up tonight. That's the only worry. But Bruno doesn't really seem like a guy that gets injured much. So
yeah,
I know that's tempting fate, but
we'll see. I think he's proved to be so important that it depends what Ole's going to prioritise, because obviously they need the win after that 1-1. They need to get Champions League. So it'd be interesting to see who he plays in that second leg. All right, okay, that was all the preview, Kieran. That's all the fixtures.
I mean, we still manage an hour.
Right, so I think we've chit-chatted about captaincy plenty this eve so far already. In terms of your clean sheet picks, who have you got this week?
So I haven't got Liverpool in there for once. But Leicester, I think, should get one. Wolves, I think, are one as well. And then Saints against... who was it again? I've completely forgotten.
West Ham away.
Yeah,
You're not going to say Nick Pope FC, just because you don't want it to happen?
Yeah, don't want it to happen.
Okay, so I'm just going to say Nick Pope FC and agree with most of those ones you predicted. Right, Cougar Cup picks. I believe it's my pick first this game week, because I think you had first last time.
All right, go on.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, I'm just making sure I'm not butting in. All right, it's going to be... He plays for a team that wear blue.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to pick. I was going to pick. So go on.
He's French.
Giroud.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, well done. I only needed 2 clues. Do yours as a clue, please.
5 goals in 1 game. 2 games.
Oh, it was Jota.
Yeah.
That was
too easy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was too easy.
Well, okay, my backup, he's Irish.
Matt Doherty.
Nope.
What? There's no other Irish.
Yeah, there is.
Need another clue.
Plays for a red and white striped team.
Someone in the Southampton team.
I picked him last week.
Is Armstrong? Oh, Shane Long.
No, Shane Long. Yeah, he'll be my backup this week.
Okay.
So. Joshua and Long.
Shane again. All right. Okay. Yeah. I better pick up a backup in case of the Corona outbreak, couldn't I?
Yeah.
All right. Let me just have a think about this one. In fact, I'm going to say someone who we mentioned right at the tippy top of the show, Johnny Evans.
Oh, not Pereira.
No, not Pereira. I don't think he's owned by less than 15%. You see?
No, it's 13.8%.
Oh,
so he is.
Oh well, Pereira then. Brilliant. Thanks, Keek. All right. Have we got anything else to cover tonight?
Transfers.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. We've had our teams up on screen.
How many blank players have you got? You got 5.
I've got 5. Well, I've got Stevens missing. For Sheffield United, I've got Grealish, De Bruyne, Nakambia, and I've also got Martin Kelly, who's not been playing. So what I'm probably going to do is transfer out both Stevens, the Sheffield United one, for... I'll tell you who I'm going to transfer out. Stevens and Kelly are definitely going my 2 defenders. So I'm going to end up playing 5 defenders this game week. And I've got 2
free transfers?
Yeah, 2 free transfers this week. So the selection, I've got 4 players who I'm still going to think about a bit more. Johnny Evans, Lascelles, Charlie Taylor, and Seiss. So I'm going to keep it fairly cheap at the back, because I want to potentially shift to another Sheffield United defender from next week and then work out how I can get Bruno in the week after. So that's probably my thinking. Could do some boring defensive transfers with teams that look good for clean sheets this week. How about you?
So, yeah, I've got 4 blankers. Mahrez, De Bruyne, Grealish, Lundstrom, and then Rico, who's an issue, but hopefully the transfers I make, he can just be first sub, hopefully. So yeah, I was thinking of just a Mahrez straight to Bruno. I've only got one free transfer, by the way. And then possibly taking a hit of a Lundstram out for an Evans, Sionku, or Reece James, which would, I would have 5, or sort of, I'd still be playing 3-4-3. But then I'd have an extra defender who I wouldn't really want to bench each week.
That's what I mean. It'd be quite
but at the same
defender.
time, like I could bench an Evans or Sionku against. No, not Evans. Sorry. I think it was Grealish. Sorry, I could bench him against a Leicester or a Tottenham possibly. But at the same time, I'm tempted to take a -8 at the same time. I haven't done this in a long time.
Bloody hell.
A Grealish out to Anna Mahrez out and a Lundstram out to someone like Bruno Pereira and a 4.8 in someone like Cantwell to just go to 4-3-3. Because I think, but at the same time, there's possibly a City double around the corner. So why would I take an 8-point hit if I need to possibly get Bruno back out or something?
Yeah.
So.
There's a lot to consider. The way I'm looking at it is because of all these good defensive runs of fixtures, I basically want to have some defenders that I can happily keep on my bench who may have good fixtures, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be playing my double Liverpool defence for quite a long time. And really, I don't want to be playing 1 or 2, definitely not 3 defenders. So I'm going to try and keep the other ones quite cheap at the moment. So I've got a bit of an easier decision than you. It sounds like you're sort of thinking a little bit more midfield, or I'm thinking backline.
Yeah, I may just do Mahrez to Bruno.
Might be the safe and easy option. Well, I think as well, in a game week where some people potentially, maybe in front of me, maybe not so much you, aren't going to be so aware of the blanks, and I'll be able to pick up some additional points. So the sort of like the fewer hits I can restrict myself to, the happier I'll be. If that makes sense.
That's true. Yeah. People are probably going to be taking hits this week as well. Maybe. So it might not be the worst week to take one.
Yeah. No, it'd be interesting if people watching this maybe drop in the comment. It'd be interesting to see how many people have blank players this week, and how many planned transfers you're making, and how many of those are hits. Just so I know it's going to be a small sample size, but it'd be interesting to hear from people what they're doing with their teams. Just give us a little idea.
Yeah, really wish I had 2 free transfers.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
All right, so we're going to be back. We're going to do another live show on Sunday. We had issues, didn't we, Kieran?
I had a burst pipe at the time of recording.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And he means a boiler pipe. And yeah, so we couldn't record. But we'll do it more of a accurate what time we're going to start. It's going to be before all of your other favourites, FPL family and Let's Talk. We're going to squeeze in ahead of them. Hope you join us. We'll post up on YouTube. So yeah, be cool if you could guys join us for half an hour chit chat Sunday evening. Any more to add, Keith, before we wrap up?
Nope. Just looking forward to Bruno goals and chance. Can't wait.
Super. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be back on Sunday. Have a great game week. Goodbye from me.
Cheers all.